So we played a clip last week of James Carville. He's the Democratic strategist. And we played a clip of him on MSNBC freaking out on the Democrats for the Iowa debacle and just in general saying the Democrats need to wake up, stop talking about stuff no one cares about, just snap out of it. That was last week. He did another interview over the phone, and he had some great lines in it. And I want to read some of that. He said the Democrats did well in 2018 because they didn't get distracted by nonsense. So the interviewer on Vox said, well, give me some examples. Like, what are some ways that Democrats are distracted today? And here's what Carville said. He said, we got candidates on the debate stage talking about open borders and decriminalizing illegal immigration. They're talking about doing away with nuclear energy and fracking. You got Bernie Sanders talking about letting criminals and terrorists vote from jail cells. It doesn't matter what you think about any of that or if those are good arguments. Talking about it is not how you win a national election. It's not how you become a Bajorian party. Terrorists voting from jail cells, I love it. And then he went on to say, for F's sake, but I can't. We're not gonna put that up we'll leave that part out. He said, here's another stupid thing. Democrats talking about free college tuition or debt forgiveness. But not only just talking about, that's one of the main premises of all the candidates is debt forgiveness. He said, I'm not here to talk about the idea. What I can tell you is that people all over this country worked their way through school, sent their kids to school, paid off student loans. They don't want to hear this blank. And you saw Warren confronted by an angry voter over this. It's just not a winning message. He went on, he said, I want to give you an example of the problem here, big picture. And this is one of the main themes that we talk about on the show. I know it's going to come up again in this next election. It was the foundational premise of the 2016 election was city versus country. And it goes back an old Aesop's fable, like 300 BC. Aesop had the story of the country mouse and the city mouse. Was an ancient theme that we saw in 2016. I think we're going to see it again here today. And here's a little version of that. He said, I want to give an example of the problem here. A couple weeks ago, Benjamin Applebaum, an economics professor for the New York Times, economics writer for the New York Times, posted a snarky tweet about how LSU canceled classes for the national championship game. And then he said, and here's the tweet right here. He said, do the Warren Sanders free public college proposals include LSU, or would it only apply to actual schools? And Carville goes on, you know how blanking patronizing that is to people in the South or the middle of the country? He said, first, LSU has an unusually high graduation rate, but that's not the point. It's the GD smugness. This is from a guy who lives in New York, serves on the Times editorial board, and there's not a single person, this is the key, there's not a single person he knows who doesn't pat him on the back for that kind of tweet. He's so blanking smart. He says, this Applebaum guy, he doesn't speak for the Democrat. Does that visual make sense? So he makes that tweet out there. Oh, does it apply to all schools or just the real schools? He makes that tweet, and everyone he knows thinks that's just hilarious. Everyone he knows pats him on the back. Oh, you're so smart. Oh, that's so great. Isn't that hilarious? Applebaum doesn't speak for the Democratic Party, but he does represent the urbanist mindset. We can't win the Senate by looking down at people. The Democratic Party has to drive a narrative that doesn't give off vapors that we're smarter than everyone or culturally arrogant. Perfect, absolutely true. I got a clip of Mike Bloomberg, maybe we could play it later in the show or maybe tomorrow, saying the exact same stuff that the New York Times guy was saying, not that Carville's saying here, but the New York Times guy saying, just talking about the intelligentsia and the people like us who could be here in this room. That's an actual quote he said. But how the intelligentsia can understand the nuanced arguments for, this is the example he gave, for why we should let men into girls' locker rooms. And we can understand the nuanced arguments about that people in the Midwest wouldn't understand.